This is RoboGunner again with the latest series for the SDC playoffs between Generation of Miracles and Club Bonobos. Get right to it. Looking at the draft, I got Kennen for the top lane, Warwick, jungle, Xerath mid lane, Sivir, and Yumi bot against the Yorick, Sejuani, Cho'Gath, Kaisa, Nami. As far as lane matchups go, Yorick's a decent pick into the Kennen because once you put up your cage, you actually end up with enough damage where the Kennen has to flash out almost every time. It's kind of one of the counter picks, but the problem is that if you shut down the Yorick with ganks or anything like that, the Yorick kind of becomes useless later on. And if you do like the on hit Kennen build, then you should be able to keep up for trade against split pushing, which that's all York can do. Sejuani is just a overall more CC, probably better ganks pre 6 for than the Warwick, except Warwick can solo dragons a lot better, I suppose. Mid lane is Cho'Gath versus Xerath. Cho'Gath is just going to try to CS and try to shrug off some of the harass with his passive. He's going glacial, so he's going to go for some of the glacial items like the Super Soaker and the Ghosties. And then bot lane should be in the favor of the Sivir Yumi just because how that combo works out really well. You can push and also the Yumi harass, and you can almost guarantee the Q hit from the Sivir, but the sustainment from the Nami might be able to keep them topped off. So Cho'Gath mid's kind of interesting. The problem is that beside like if you go AP Cho'Gath, trying to get an invade here, they don't have any CC to follow up, so it doesn't matter. The problem with AP Cho'Gath is that he gets a lot of HP, which is really good. And his Q has a 1-to-1 ratio, or maybe it might be 1.0, 1.1. I mean, it's pretty good. But the problem ends up being that like if you miss your Q, then like that's half your damage because you're not gonna really hit anyone with your E. So then you have your silence, your cone, which is pretty easy to hit. So that's why everybody's going glacial. Makes it where it's really easy to hit his Q. So see how that goes. But the regeneration bead from the Warwick's pretty standard because you want to try to get TMAT as fast as possible. Missing some farm, getting good trade though. So Xerath gets boots, landing Q on Xerath actually might be pretty easy for the Cho'Gath, so it's pretty good harass. Only problem is it costs a lot of mana, so try to get mana back on CSing. So this lane definitely is looking like the Nami's being able to be the superior poke, plus you got the heal, up until Sivir gets enough items to be able to push the wave faster and easier. It will definitely probably go into the Nami's favor. If Nami ignited there, she probably would have gotten the kill because they have a heal, but she was low enough for probably would have done it anyway. So seeing some poke traded back and forth. See the Sedge invading onto the Raptors is because Warwick doesn't do Raptors very well early on until he gets Tiamat, which is pretty smart to know that you're going to skip this camp most likely, so the invade's fine. See this also, that's why Cho'Gath's hugging the bot side, because the Sejuani's there can help if the Warwick wants to really contest that gank. Right now would be the good thing is that the York can't really try to do anything at all. One, because the Kennen's probably gonna right now is gonna win out on the trades, but two, also the Warwick's on top side and the Sejuani's on the bot side, so he has to play on the super like he's on the weak side of the map. So, and now that this lane should be going a lot easier for blue side because the Nami ran out of mana, which is the biggest thing with Nami is that her W costs a lot of mana. It's like over 100 mana, like level 1, almost maybe 90 mana. So it's a lot. It's definitely one of those things. Let's get seeing some okay trading patterns. If you don't play Yorick, one of the big things you can do is just farm up 3 gravestones with your Q, which every time you kill a minion with your Q, a grave mark will appear. Once you get your third one, press E, gets the cage. He's gonna use the flash because he didn't flash, he would have gotten feared towards the cannon, probably would have died. But if you get the 3 marks and then you throw your E, which is like this cloud of mist thing, and you tag them, you can press Q afterwards and it'll summon the ghouls and have them automatically jump. You don't have to do it beforehand, making it not as telegraphed, basically, which is kind of nice. So, yeah. Unless the Kennen goes the on-hit build or the AD build, I'm not sure if he can ever really try to contest the Yorick, considering he didn't get a whole lot of work done super early levels. He also went the Airy, so it's probably not going to be an on-hit build. So there's going to be a time where the Yorick's just going to be uncontested in this lane for the most part, unless a lot of ganks come through. Get the double longsword from the Warwick because he wants to go Tiamat, and chilling smite for Sejuani. See what the Cho'Gath buys on his first base. He's gonna definitely be going for the last chapter first. Kind of interested to see if the Warwick tries to solo dragon. Definitely could. Big issue is though that it's warded, so they know it's there. But that's one of the advantages of having Warwick early or on your team is you can do early dragons. So maybe if his bot lane gets more priority, they might be looking for it. And that's kind of the combo right there. We say where if the Yumi lands the Q, you can land the Q on Sivir. She only landed the first half, but it's pretty good. And the matchup in mid is turning out to be Cho'Gath's just going to ignore the Xerath and just shove the wave because all of his abilities are AoE, which is really good. And he's shrugging off any of the poke that Xerath can put out early on through his passive, which is pretty smart. Just making where you just make a kind of non-interactive lane. Only problem with this is that you kind of become susceptible to ganks if your jungler ever decides to come. So, but this is gonna make Xerath probably miss some CS under tower and using a lot of his mana trying to push the wave. And once Xerath gets some items, he can push the wave just as fast. So, nothing to worry about that. Yorick ulting. Just thinking that if he had the slow, he could go all in. But this is fine though. It lets him he can hit the tower if he wants to get some tower plates, but it is pretty early, so won't get as much damage going. Yep. So mid lane is just going to be uninteractive. The Cho'Gath is just going to push over and over and over and leave until jungle comes and tries to punish for the constant pushing. But this is also going to make it where the Cho'Gath can roam. Without boots, it's going to be really hard. And there's the trade. Nice harassment of the Sejuani, trying to clear out wards. In this situation as a Kennen, you want to try to get rid of the Maiden if you can without overextending too hard, but it's a little difficult. Xerath's out of mana because he doesn't have the Lost Chapter first. So, Kennen's going Proto Belt. I think that in this, like, if you're going to just totally give up onto the split push style, then you definitely want to go Proto Belt. But if you're going to try to match him in some way, shape, or form, even if you're just the one because you have TP, the Gunblade's definitely kind of the item you want here. And that's kind of the big thing with Red. Red team is that their big win condition is most likely just going to be have Yorick split the entire time because you don't have anyone except for maybe the Warwick if you got like a lot of items. Nice heal. Alright, they're able to survive that. But yeah, basically you're gonna have no one that's gonna be able to match the Yorick in a side lane. Like I said, besides maybe Warwick, but that's if he goes split push hitting items, which he probably won't. So blue team blows flash and heal. Red team only blows flash for gank afterwards or play afterwards because Kaisa extended too much. Right now, top lane needs pressure, whether that's diving or trying to just get a gank going, because your Kennen, who's supposed to be doing well in lane, is down 20 CS, which isn't good. Even if you just call your jungler up right here, just to get rid of that maiden. And see, this is kind of just the trade where it's like you just can't get out of the cage without flashing. So you just end up in a really bad situation in that instance. The Xerath could try to match the Yorick later on just by clearing the wave constantly because you do have the Sivir, right? So that might be the play for blue team to try to counteract this split pushing is having the Xerath, who does have TP, mind you. It's triple TP versus double TP. You could have the Xerath or the Sedge, who's quick gank. He's got no prio from anyone. Misses his ult over the wall because Warwick's ult is based on movement speed, so the lower movement speed you have, which you was slowed by the Sejuani ult, the shorter it's going to be, so you might not have been able to actually jump over the wall, surprisingly. Um, but how blue team might actually play against the split push is you send the Xerath into the Yorick to wave clear from halfway across the screen. Because if you send the Sivir might have to get into auto range to hit the wave, and that might be too close. While the Xerath doesn't have to be in auto range. So now the Xerath's got to play super safe because he doesn't have summoners. And there's a whole bunch of CC between the Sejuani and the Cho'Gath. Now the Yorick's just going to get a whole bunch of plates. Might lose his maiden if he doesn't leave right now. Yeah, his maiden's gonna die. So, good thing though is that maiden does go on cooldown after it dies, so it is gonna be about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Here's the flash Q onto the Xerath. It's kind of one of those things where, since you don't have flash, right? Go and rewind that. If you don't have flash, and like they knew you don't have the dash, like it's kind of bad being this low health. Like you're at third HP, you have teleport. He's probably waiting to get enough money to get his Luden's Echo. But let's see if there's any wards. There's a red ward there, and there's a pink ward here. So there's no vision anywhere on either side of the lane from what it looks like. So what he really needs to do is like pretty much just be on his tower. Like he needs to be like he needs to not cross this line essentially. Like even that is like still pretty far up. Like he needs to stay back behind this in order to stay safe. And like he's gonna use his abilities regardless, right? Because his Q can go like all the way over here. Like he could probably reach this if he's back here still. Um, just because like the if you with this little amount of HP and no flash, it's just really hard to be able to dodge any ganks that's going to come in that his way, which does happen here with the flash Q. So, yep. I kind of want the Warwick to try to invade on bot side possibly with your Sivir and your Xerath trying to clearing waves because he's going for the top lane gank, which is fine. It might be a little late because Yorick's got levels, which Yorick scales pretty well with levels. We have a TP top from the Cho'Gath. Might be trying to do some demolish procking or something onto the turret. TP mid from the Xerath. Let's see how this happened. So Zerath still doesn't get his items that he needs, but so they go on this because the Nami face checks. Nami flashes immediately. Let's see if we have any sums. We have Ignite and Heal. Well, ends up just being one of those things where Kai'Sa's single target damage, especially when you're isolated, right, is a lot higher than Sivir's. Like Sivir's got to hit double boomerang and everything else, and Kai'Sa gets the shield. Right there, like how they would have survived that possibly is if okay, and this is just going to be a chain gank over and over because he's got the squirt gun now, super soaker. Presses that, and then that's gonna be really hard. So basically, the Xerath is gonna have to sit at tower the rest of the game, pretty much. But how bot lane could have maybe survived that is if the Yuumi ducked out of the Sivir and either try to absorb the W from Kai'Sa or take some of the shots from Q, because Q will split up a little bit. Again, all in here. The cage kind of screws everything up. Warwick has ult, so there's that. Gets the kill. That's pretty good. So that just shows you that you can't overextend too hard on the Yorick as long as the Warwick's there. So just gonna try to get some plates. Really good, except the Yorick's got TP. So besides this Tribush ward right here, there's no vision on the red side. It's all gone, but it would be nice to have some vision on there. Taking Rift Herald after 14 minutes, kind of sad, but just how this game's been going. Haven't had pressure. The Warwick could have sold it earlier though, so I'm kind of surprised that didn't happen. Mid tower is almost gone just because demolish. Whole bunch of other stuff happening. Right now, blue team just needs to just try to be super defensive, right? Because they have the scaling champions, right? You have Sivir and you have Xerath. They're two really good scaling champions, like your control mage, who wants to try to poke from range. Who's 0-2, he just needs to try to farm from off screen. And Sivir's kind of in the same situation too. It's 4 mid, it's because no one's able to protect mid. They're going to try to get this tower for free. There's no wave. Well, there's like 2 minions, I guess. I have to back up a little bit. Now the wave's coming again. They can try to do the same thing again. This is just because giving over blue, not having vision of where people are, just kind of leads to this happening. Because you saw that they weren't bot lane, they went mid. And then if there's not going to be anyone to try to hit kill the wave, then they're just going to push the additional turret. And now Yorick's going to do the same thing because the Kennen had to roam over, just in case. Maiden's down though, so you could fight the Yorick if he wants to. Getting the Mountain Drake, it's kind of bad. Just makes it where they could do Baron a lot easier. It's one of the things that are going to be hard for the team to contest with. The Warwick goes full tank after this. It'll be pretty good, so you can try to face check. But outside of that, they just need to be able to try to keep wards in their jungle so that they don't lose too much of that. Warwick can farm, and everyone else can just try to farm and try to get as much gold as possible for these scaling carries. 5,000 gold down already though is quite a significant amount. And this is kind of, I mean, so you can't jump through the wall with Proto Belt, but even without the Maiden, right? Like you saw how close that fight was. So if Yorick has Maiden, then you just get the kill there. And that's why matchups are really hard. And if you're gonna be in the same lane as the Yorick, then you definitely should probably go the Gunblade for the split pushing potential, or just go on hit, one of the two. Actually, to be honest, it's really weird because you have Zareth who wants to poke in team fights, and you have Sivir who's also she can do team fights too, but you don't have anyone that's gonna like go in, right? Besides the Warwick, which is kind of fine. But then, so it's like all the focus is gonna be on the Warwick and the Kennen, right? And neither one of them are actually really good main engages. They're more secondary engages, or if they get the flank, it's okay. So we're just gonna see this happening over and over, where Kennen loses most of his HP. So that's kind of the main problem with this. They just need to have someone else matching the Yorick. Probably the Zerath. Like I said, just because he can definitely be kind of off screen, trying to clear. Because the Ken is just gonna die. There's nothing he can do. He should be dead here. Ooh. I think he's dead now. If he didn't Zonias, he might have lived. So, get a freeze. Is this where the stream died, or? Okay. So they summon Rift Herald. Oh, the Warwick didn't really get anything, I guess. And they're trying to defend their base, which they're actually really good for, and they get the big burst. So this is kind of, so you get 2 kills, where one was from earlier with the top side of the map, but red team should not be tower diving, because while you are ahead by like 6k gold, it's like the point of this entire team comp is basically all around wave clearing and kind of counter engage with the Yumi ult. Like you have Yumi ult, you have Sivir ult to try to kite backwards, and the Warwick who is gonna ult whoever's under tower and fear whoever else is around him. So it's definitely one of those compositions you don't want to tower dive unless you are really far ahead. So Cho'Gath pick is working okay. I kind of know how many stacks he has, but like I said, right now what they need to do is they need to send the Zerath against the Yorick, possibly. Only thing is that the little ghouls take reduced damage to AoE, so that might make it actually difficult for him to clear those specific things, but I don't know. Might not be as good. They give the Nami blue buff. I guess it's fine if your W costs a lot and you want to keep mana. Kennen's basing, has TP, probably could have kept staying, getting the tower, but he's no vision, so it's definitely the right call to probably base. Or you could have stayed hidden in a bush, which would have been the right thing to do, and waited for the pressure. Because you have your Kennen just kind of sitting here, is like, well, I'm gonna group, except now they're gonna see the they're not gonna see the Yorick in time, right? Because like this wave's even, and it was going to push into them, but now the Yorick's there, now they have to send someone down there. Let's see who they send. Because you have all TPs up, so you can send any of your solo people. Dragon's coming up soon. I wonder what dragon it is. It's gonna be a fire drake. You would like to fight for this, but don't know if you're able to. Between Cho'Gath ult and the fact that you still have this happening down here. So you get the Kennen ult. Should be able to burn the Yorick, right? Sivir gets caught because of the cage, makes it too hard. And the Warwick gets caught too, just because so far behind. Let's see. There was a way they could have actually played that maybe a little bit better. So they get this. Everyone's running up. Now they're like, hey, we can catch this Yorick out, which is fine. Using Kennen ult on a solo person's kind of whatever. You have the wave coming in here with the Sejuani ult, or having your Xerath having to kite away because of the Cho'Gath coming, and the Kai'Sa is going to be over here too. So, yeah. The only way the server would have lived is she spell shielded the Sejuani ult. Fears that away, which is good, but he has flash. He might have been able to, flash the rupture unless he was silenced. So, but they just gotta try to wave clear, which they could do because they still have the Xerath. You can combo kill the Kai'Sa there too, and that's where you're seeing Xerath starting to scale up. Where if you can get the stun on a squishy target, which is pretty much only the Kai'Sa and the Nami, because the other three are just gonna have a lot of HP. Like Cho'Gath's just getting HP from his ult and everything, but they should be able to have the option of wave clearing. The only problem is they're gonna have to try to fight for probably Baron, and then uh, they might not need to focus the Mountain Drake, but Mountain Drake makes it where they can take the Baron like super fast. So that just kind of all depends on that. Blue team needs to have some wards on Baron, which is where the Warwick's going right now, but those are going to be cleared. The Yuumi's clearing out some wards here, trying to get some vision in their blue jungle, which is good. So, because this can be the next objective, is going to be the Baron, so they can try to crack the base, because it's just so hard to crack the base with both Xerath and Sivir. So, do you have a blue ward on the Xerath, which is good. I think they're doing the Baron. Yeah, they're doing the Baron. Problem is they also have a really good turn, right? They can turn really well with Sejuani and the Cho'Gath. All the slows. Get the ult. Warwick tries to dive in. Lots of damage coming through though. Okay, gets the kill onto that. Nice. Now they're gonna have to keep kiting away. Okay, good flash. Alright, so 2 for 4, or actually 2 for 3, so that's actually pretty good in considering how far behind they are. The Baron going over does kind of suck because Xerath's the only one alive. And Baron minions have a lot of extra magic resist. But that was actually pretty decent overall, considering that you were able to trade 2 of your members for 3, or 3 of your members for 2, which isn't too bad. Your mid lane and jungle. 2 didn't get it off of the Yorick, just because he's going to be able to split with that buff for a little bit. And it's kind of showing where like the full AP Cho'Gath is just a lot squishier than you just think. Where you just see all that HP and you just think you're a lot tankier, and you're not. He's now going for Righteous Glory, which I suppose works because you're going to get the extra speed up. You can run at him a lot faster. You got the extra slows, making use of that glacial quite a bit. I don't know if I particularly like the build overall as being a tank. It's basically just a utility where you do a little bit more damage than normal because you have some AP, but it's not like these AP items, the squirt gun and the ghosts, they don't have a large amount of AP. Cho'Gath does have decent AP scaling, but they don't have a large amount of AP, and you don't really have too many resistances to back up this kind of build. You just have a lot of health, so he's getting a little bit of, like, a tiny bit of resistance from the glacial, and that's about it. So it's kind of interesting, just a lot of utility. As long as the Sedge and the Yorick take most of the damage, should be fine, I suppose. So we have the Sivir clearing the bot wave against the Baron, which is exactly what needs to happen. Kennen gets out, having used all his cooldowns. So this is kind of the problem now that they have Baron. Xerath doesn't clear as well. And I really don't like... Yeah, the Sivir's gonna die here against the Yorick. Maybe? Depends if he gets hit by the next E or not. He's taking tower. No, he should be alright. Okay. So, without a lot of movement speed, starts with the ult. Alright, that works. And I think they keep top tower, so that's worth overall. You have to use a couple of flashes, but they're gonna lose the top turret now. So start the fight off. Kennen ulting, hitting a lot of AoE stuns, a lot of damage. Kennen should die. Yep. Too bad Yumi couldn't heal it. So they didn't get the inhib, which is really good for blue team. The problem is that Earth Drake is up, so the Warwick should probably be there right now, but probably won't get there in time for it. So that's gonna be red team's dragon. 9k gold behind. It's kind of a little rough. 8k gold. Yeah, 9k gold. So now it's gonna be anytime they approach the Baron, it's just gonna burn really fast. Between double Fire Drake and double Mountain Drake, it's just going to be incredibly hard. So Dragon's getting a lot of HP. So for blue team, what they need to do is probably try to get a pick in these rotations. Without expending Kennen ulti probably is going to be the best bet. Because right now your Kennen is just super far behind, and this is one of those issues where it just feels really bad to play Kennen because you're like 90 CS down, a lot of levels, you're 0 and 3, so it just feels really bad to be playing in this situation where it's like, well, I gotta go in the middle of the team, try to stun everyone, do barely any damage, or I gotta try to split against the Yorick, which isn't gonna work either. So, which is why so it's kind of interesting because AD Kennen has been making its rounds in Korea quite a bit. And maybe EU, I'm not sure, but I know in NA it's not popular. But without the towers, they start losing their inhibitors, and they're just so far behind, right? Because you don't have anyone that can deal with the Yorick in a straight up fight. You have this kind of weird team fighting comp that doesn't have any engage either. Like your engage is basically a Kennen flank who's really far behind, and if you're gonna have vision warded out for it, then it's not gonna matter. And then you have Xerath who's fine, but like can only really do damage to like two people on the enemy team because they're all tanky, and you're like poke style control mage, so that kind of feels awkward. Um, so good news is they get a whole bunch of CS, and Sivir's the best at defending against double and super minions. So, but for the next game, because I'm going to assume that Bonobos win this game, I can't see too much of where Miracles pull this off. They have to have a miracle, ha ha ha! Especially with the Baron coming up, because it's like you have to fight over this Baron, but then it's like if you fight over the Baron, you're gonna lose your base to minions. And with a double mountain and the double inferno, like this thing is gonna be dead. It's gonna be gone. So yeah, it's dead. Ken tries to go in, tries to make a play, almost gets the Nami, but he's gonna die for it. The Warwick might die now here too. Yep. Well, maybe not. He gets the all over the wall. And he's just gonna die that way. Okay. So yeah, as basically the big thing with this game was that team comps just did not match up that well. Bot lane was relatively fine for both sides. Mid lane, like the Xerath pick doesn't really do too well into the Cho'Gath pick itself. On top of the fact that like you have this weird team comp that you're not able to really poke anyone past like 20 minutes because the Cho'Gath's gonna have too much HP. If the Yorick's not too far behind, he's gonna have some MR. And this is also kind of thing of when you have double AP champions where the solo lanes they both get MR and kind of hurts both of you. You can't really switch it up that way. Um, and he's kind of Sedge, who's just an all-star jungler versus Warwick, who's kind of not that great right now. He's a couple of bugs in his kit, and he's pretty linear on what he's supposed to do, so it's a lot easier to predict what's going on. Maybe could have used TP a lot more, trying to make plays around the map since you do have triple TP. I don't know. But that'll be it for game one of the series.